In the previous video, we have discussed about the lexical analyzer. So now we are going to discuss about the syntax analyzer. So what is meant by syntax analyzer? Syntax analyzer, the syntax analyzer is also called as a hierarchical analyzer or also called as a parse tree, and it is also called as a parse tree. In this phase, the token generated by the lexical analyzer are grouped together to form a hierarchical structure. The syntax analysis determines the structure of the source string by grouping the tokens together. So here in syntax analyzer, it will be formed within a hierarchical structure. So for example, if we take an example, that is previously we have taken a example, new value is equal to old value plus 12. So a syntax analyzer is also called as a parse tree syntax structure. So for that above example, so here we discuss here. So old value plus 12. Okay, now old value plus 12. So old value is an expression and plus 12 is also an expression. Expression plus expression. So these two are added and that is equal to the expression, and expression will be an assignment operator and it will be given to an identifier here. So what is the plus operator? Expression. Expression is a number. So here we have described it as a 12, and expression, another expression is identifier. Identifier is nothing but an old value. So these two are old value plus 12 are added and those are given to the expression, that is equal to symbol, and equal to symbol stores the value. What the resultant value will be there, that will be stored in the assignment operator. So assignment operator consists of an identifier. So identifier is equal to this expression, what the result has come, that will be stored in this one. So that is called as a syntax analyzer. So syntax analyzer is also called as a, that's why the syntax analyzer is also called as an syntax analyzer is also called as a parse tree. In parse tree, all terminals are at leaves. That means old value and 12 are terminals. All inner nodes are non-terminals in the context-free grammar. Next phase of the analysis phase is syntax analyzer. So what the syntax analyzer will do? The syntax analyzer, what the syntax analyzer? Now we are discussing all the syntax analyzer. The syntax of the language is specified by the context-free grammar CFG. The rules in CFG are most recursively. Next, a syntax analyzer checks whether the given program satisfies the rules implied by the CFG or not. If it satisfies, the syntax analyzer creates a parse tree for the given program. So here we will use a Backus-Naur form to specify a CFG. So here assignment is equal to identifier. Identifier is equal to expression. Expression is an identifier and another expression is a number. Expression is equal to expression plus expression. This is the CFG rules. Next, what is the difference between syntax analyzer versus lexical analyzer? Which construct the program should be recognized by the lexical analyzer and which one of the syntax analyzer? Both of them do similar things, but the lexical analyzer deals with the simple non-recursive construction of the language. The syntax analyzer deals with the recursive construction of the language. Next, the lexical analyzer specifies the job of the syntax analyzer. Next, the lexical analyzer recognizes the smallest meaningful unit, that is token in the source program. The syntax analyzer works on the smallest meaningful units token in a source program to recognize meaningful structures in our programming language. So next is parsing techniques. There are two types of parsing techniques here. Depending on how the parse tree is created, there are different parsing techniques. So syntax analyzer is also called as a parsing techniques. So these parsing techniques are categorized into two groups. One is top-down parsing, second one is bottom-up parsing. In top-down parsing, construction of the parse tree starts at the root, that means assignment operator root, and proceeds towards the leaves. Efficiently, top-down parser can be easily constructed by hand. Recursive predictive parsing and non-recursive predictive parsing. This is called as an LLR parsing. And next one is bottom-up parsing. Construction of the parse tree starts at the leaves and proceeds towards the root. Normally, efficient bottom-up parsers are created with the help of some software tools. Bottom-up parsing is also known as a shift-reduce parser, and here there are another also operator precedence parser, simple, restrictive, easy to implement. Next, LR parsing, much general form of the shift-reducing parser. In LR parsing, there are different kinds of LR parsing. LR parsing or CLR parsing, SLR parsing, and LALR parsing. Canonical LR parsing and simple LR parsing, look ahead LR parsing. So these are. Next comes in a semantic analyzer. What is meant by semantic analyzer? Semantic analyzer, what the semantic analyzer do in semantic analysis, we will check the data type and the digits. That is, the digit type is, if the digit type is integer, it will be converted to float. If the digit, that is, the data type is integer, float, double, or real numbers. Every data type is converted into float because the compiler cannot understand the integer values. So we'll in semantic analyzer we'll construct the integer value to in a float values. So that the compiler cannot understand the integers. So here a semantic analyzer checks the source program for semantic errors and collects the type information for the code generation. Okay, now it collects the type of the code generation. Type checking is an important part of the semantic analyzer. Normally, semantic information cannot be represented by context-free language or used in syntax analyzer. Next, context-free grammars used in the syntax analyzers are integrated with attributes, semantic rules. The result is in a syntax-directed translation. Example, new value is equal to old value plus 12. The type of the identifier new value must match with the type of the expression old value plus 12. So that means if these both are same, then we'll get a same result. That's why this is a semantic analyzer. Next we go with an intermediate code generation. This is very important. First three phases, that is analysis phase, entirely depends on the language. It does not depend on the syntax. Okay. In analysis model, the source program is read and broken into small pieces. During this process, intermediate code is generated. So entirely in the above phase, that means analysis phase, entirely depends upon the language itself. That is also called as a front end. So the front end consists of those phases that primarily depends on the source program and independent on the target program. The front end consists of analysis part. Typically, it includes lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, and semantic analyzer. So that is called as an analysis phase. Now we are going to with a synthesis phase. So after completing the lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, we will get an intermediate code. So what the intermediate code do? Intermediate code do? It is a kind of code which is easy to generate, and this code can be easily converted to target code. A compiler may produce an explicit intermediate code representing the source code. These intermediate codes are generally mission architecture independent, but the level of intermediate code is close to the level of mission code. So this code is a variant of the form such as address code, triple, quadruple, postfix, etc. Here we will consider an intermediate code generator in 3 address code forms. So here we'll generate a 3 address code or quadruple or triple. So this is like an assembly level language. So for example, if we take new value is equal to old value plus fact plus 1. So new value is an identifier and old value is an identifier 2 and fact is an identifier 3 plus 1. So here we'll do multiplication here. So first we'll do a multiplication here. Multiply identifier 2 and identifier 3 and store it in the temporary 1 value. So here quadruple is there, 1, 2, 3. So 3, okay, 3 is called as a quadruple and add with 1. So temporary 1 value is added with 1, that is number. So here we represent as a hash 1 and it is stored in the temporary 2. and move this temporary 2 value to the identifier 1. So this is called as an intermediate code generator. So that is called as an intermediate code generator. Next comes with a code optimizer. So what is a code optimizer? The code optimizer optimizes the code produced by the intermediate code generator in terms of time and space. If any any unnecessary code is there, that will be deleted by the code optimization. The code optimization phase attempts to improve the intermediate code generator. This is necessary to have a faster execution code and a less consumption of the memory. The overall running time is also less compared to the intermediate code generator. So for example, multiply, identify 2 and identify 3 and stored it in the temporary one. And next temporary 1 and hash 1 is added and stored directly into the identifier 2. In the previous example, what we have said, added temporary 1 and temporary 1 is added with 1 and it is stored in temporary 2. So temporary 2 is unnecessary. Directly we are moving to the identifier 1 in code optimizer. That is about the code optimizer. Next comes with a code generator. So it produces the target language in a specific architecture. So it generates a target language in a specific architecture. The target program is normally a relocatable object file containing the mission code. That is called as a code generator. So in code generator phase, the target code gets generated. The intermediate code generator instructions are translated into sequence of mission instruction. Assume that we have an architecture with instruction whose at least one of its operand is a mission register. So for example, move ID2. So here in the previous example, ID2 is placed in the R1 register, and next ID3 is placed in the ID3 is placed ID3 and R1 are multiplier, and next add 1 to the R1, next move R1 to the ID1. So that is called as a code generator.